years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex. This is the Ramble. We go until midnight tonight from the East Coast of the United States in New York City, Eastern Daylight Time. Ladies and gentlemen, the left coast of the United States. Yeah, it's Larry Bubbles Brown. Hello, Larry.
Hello, Alex.
How you doing?
Oh, a little better than last week. So,
Yeah. We were supposed to do you last week, and you said to me, "I'm having so many problems this week, I can't do it."
Yes, I was. I had a mild case of food poisoning, and then I've been dealing with filing for unemployment with the state of California, which it looks like it finally went through. But their computer their computer systems are literally from the 60s and 70s. They actually had to call some guys from that had worked for California in that period to come work on these computers. They're just so shaky, and nobody knows how to use them. And
wow.
There's some code they use. Is it called COVAD or COBOL or
COBOL?
That's it. So they're still in that system.
No.
That's how old these are. So, and they've got millions of people applying, and there's just these horror stories.
And they
that
probably they probably don't have anybody that knows how COBOL works anymore.
Yeah, that's why they had their call. They were looking for these retired employees that used to work there to come out and try to save them.
Oh boy.
So what I realize is, in this society, nothing works.
Nothing works. No, nothing works when you want it to. You know. Well, I don't know. I've just been. It's hot in this studio, and I got the air conditioning on, and it's not cooling it down. And I've got my breathing problems I've been having, but I think it may be dust under the bed. So we just took attachments that hadn't been used in years and put it on the Dyson, and put it under the bed and cleaned under there, and hopefully that'll help me a little bit.
Yeah. And how long do you say you hadn't vacuumed there?
Well, since we got the new bed, which has to be at least 5 years, 6 years.
That's like you just opened King Tut's tomb.
Yes. I'm Lord Carnarvon of dust. God, now, tell me this. Why is it that I'm losing it and I can't remember things? And yet I just came up with Lord Carnarvon.
Well, I do the same thing. You get old, you have clear memory for older references, but things you just said like yesterday, you tend to forget.
Now, people are asking who is Lord Carnarvon. He discovered King Tut's tomb, right?
Carnarvon, it was
or did he
named Carter.
Huh? Okay, but Carnarvon financed it, I think.
Maybe that was it, but yeah. Carter was the guy that found the tomb.
Yeah.
And you probably know this, that you see all these old theaters from the 20s, there's a lot of them have Egyptian themes, and I guess that the discovery of that tomb set off a national craze, and that's why all those theaters were designed like old Egyptian places.
Yeah. So, but Lord Carnarvon, I think, financed it, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right. It's a great name, too.
Yeah. And do you know what Lord Carnarvon is famous for today?
No.
The Downton Abbey mansion.
Oh, okay.
Belongs to the Carnarvons.
Wow.
Yeah. I believe I'm right about that. Somebody look it up and prove me wrong.
Well, let's Google that.
Let's see here. Lord Carnarvon. I have all my... I can do it here. You can't. Let's see. Lord Carnarvon. Oh, here. Lord Carnarvon. It just comes up when I go CANA. Okay. Who is the current Lord Carnarvon? He's George Herbert, 8th Earl of Carnarvon. Who lives in Highclere Castle? That's the castle. The castle they used in Downton Abbey. It says today the castle is the home of the 8th Earl and Countess of Carnarvon, or Carmarvon. It's actually Carmarvon. So anyway, see?
See, that popped right out of your head.
Yep, just popped right, just boom, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I can't remember your name again.
But it is those old theaters, as you know, are just amazing.
Yes, they are.
And now I guess we're not going to have theaters anymore. They're all closing.
Well, and as they should.
You think so?
Yeah, they're badly run these days, you know. All they care about is putting people in seats. They don't care about showmanship, you know. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the local AMC down here, what I call the comfy chair theater. And about all they got is the comfy chairs, and they're kind of losing their stuffing. I went in there and I love 3D, so I went to see a movie in 3D, and the picture comes on. It's not in 3D. It's not in 3D at all. So I go down and I complain to the management, and he goes, "Well, let me see here. We have 3D showings, and we have showings that aren't in 3D." And he looks up and he says, "Well, the showing you're watching should be in 3D." He said, "Come up and look at it." So he comes up, and I said, "Does that look like 3D to you? You don't even have to put the glasses on. There's no double image." And all these people, by the way, are sitting in the goddamn theater watching this thing with their glasses on, thinking they're watching 3D.
Really?
Yeah.
What a ripoff.
Yeah. So they said, "You want your money back?" I said, "Damn rights I want my money back." You know.
What movie was that?
That thing about creatures and where to find them or something. I don't know. Goofy.
Well, how come 3D never really caught on, but it never dies either?
Well, no, it's caught on. It caught on. I mean, they're still making all the major releases, big tent features like the Avengers and so on in 3D. They're not even made in 3D. Let me explain to you. They're processed into 3D. They shoot them flat, and then they go in with some technology wizardry and extrude the picture. So what you're getting really is fake 3D. You're not even getting real 3D. The only person shooting in real 3D is like, what's his name who did Avatar? He so loves 3D, he wouldn't think of converting his films to 3D. He shoots them in 3D.
Wow.
Cameron. Alita, this film that just came out, Alita, was actually shot in what I call stereoscopic 3D, where they shoot with two lenses, two cameras, two different streams of video, so that they approximate the difference between your eyes. So, but everybody else is like, we'll just send this off to the Make It Into 3D lab, and then it comes back with a 3D print, and they shove those out to the theaters digitally. So.
And they can run those through a regular projector?
No, there's just no regular projector anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
They're all digital. Let me get you up to speed on this, Bubs.
Well, in the old days, did they have two projectors for the 3D?
Yeah, when I was growing up and I fell in love with 3D, and there was a big 3D craze back around 53. They showed these movies in 3D, and what they did is they projected them with two separate projectors. And they put a different reel in each projector, and then they ran them synchronized. If you were lucky, chances are you wouldn't be lucky, and then they would go out of sync, and you would get the most blazing headache you've ever had. But
those crappy glasses again.
But that 3D was spectacular. People want to see that kind of 3D at home if they have a 3D TV set like I have. I have one now, and one in the closet that's broken that I want to get fixed. If you watch Creature from the Black Lagoon, the 3D copy that they have, that's stereoscopic. You know, all those films in the 60s were stereoscopic, and the early 3D films in this craze were done stereoscopically. But then somebody said, "Oh, well, we can convert all these films to 3D rather than having to spend the money for 2 different cameras and blah 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 blah." And no, they shoot them flat and then they send them out. Yeah.
Well, I've never seen a 3D movie.
What?
No.
Really?
I'd like to.
Well, if you ever come to New York, I got about 100 of them in computer files, and we'll just reel them out for you on our big 3D TV set.
Well, I'd love to see Creature from the Black Lagoon, because I thought that was the sexiest woman in movies. Forget her name, but.
What was her name? See, now there I go. What was her name?
She was brunette.
Yeah, and her name was. Wait a minute, hold on a second.
Well, it wasn't Crane.
No, it was. As soon as I see the name, I'm going to hate myself. Creature. Beautiful creature. Well, I'll have to go from. I get a from. There we go. From the Black Lagoon. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Let me see here. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Wait a minute. This isn't coming up right.
Yeah, I can't. It's like names. You get older, you can't remember names.
Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh, come on. I've got more problems here. You love the fact that I'm having problems here. Okay. Lori something. No, Julie Adams.
Julie Adams. Okay, yeah. She was amazing.
And I like the scene where she's swimming, right?
Oh, she's got that one-piece suit on, yeah.
Yeah, and the creature is swimming under her like he's having sex with her. He's on his back.
Uh-huh.
And he's looking up at her, you know. I mean, when you've got a creature that ugly, hot for you, that beats any dating horror story you've ever had.
And, of course, I think he got rid of Bobby Slayton. There was like a dozen.
Oh, no, he still has it.
He still has it, okay.
He has in the theaters what they did for, they had a stand-up, which was a complete replica of the Creature of the Black Lagoon that would stand in the lobby, okay? And I get a call from Bobby, and he says, "You got $300 you can lend me?" Or maybe no, it was $1,000. If you got $1,000, you can lend me.
Yeah, that was like $1,000.
In those days, I was full of money, so I said, "Sure, I'll give you $1,000." What do you want? He said, "Don't ask." I said, "You got some financial problems?" He says, "Don't ask." So a couple of weeks later, I said, "Okay, I sent you the $1,000. I think for my money, I need to know what it was you needed it for." He said, "I bought the Creature from the Black Lagoon." He said, "What?" He says, "It's a stand-up that was in theaters. It's a complete three-dimensional dummy, you know, of the creature." And I went, "Oh, cool. You know, that's what you spent $1,000 on? You didn't buy dinner?" And I think originally he was going to spend it to pay something off or something is what he needed it for, but then he turned around and used it to buy this.
Well, I think that would be a good investment, actually.
Well, he still has it to this day, from what I understand.
Yeah, because I think they only made like a dozen or so of them.
They made a handful of them. I mean, they were done as promotions for theaters, and then I guess in the first theaters where they showed them, the road show or the initial showing, they put these things in the theaters. I think they cycled them around from theater to theater and so on. But he got one of them. It's probably worth a good deal of money now.
Yeah.
You ever watch? You don't watch TV much, do you? Do you watch TV?
A little, not much.
Do you have cable?
No.
No. Why did I even ask that question?
I'm still on the old air, the signal that comes through the air.
Yes.
And I have a converter box because TVs now, whatever, they change.
Digital.
digital, so it converts the signal.
Say the word after me.
I get a
digital.
bunch of channels for all free.
Right. Well, when we talk to you next, we'll have to talk about what you watch on your limited amount of television that you get.
I watch the Justice Channel a lot because I like these old crime stories.
Yeah. But I have run out of time.
Oh, already?
And so have you.
Yeah. I think I ran out a long time ago.
And we'll do this again next week. How's that, Bubs?
We will.
Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Larry Bubbles Brown.
Five years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Oh, boy, I really screwed that one up, didn't I? Oh, God, I wanted to go put myself on. Oh, yeah, okay. See, what I did is I pushed that one. See? Still talking. Yeah, it's the opening. Anyway. Okay, fine. Anyway, that's how those things work. Okay. Anyway, where are we? Oh, okay. Look, I got people already waiting in my waiting room here, and I have it on enable waiting room. So I'm going to disable the waiting room, and then I'm going to admit Phil Meyer. Let me see here, and then I will admit Howard, who's with us. Phil, are you gonna go with that today? Are you gonna because it's a very bad green screen. Can you hear me, Phil? What are you doing? You're zipping up your fly and everything. Okay. Get rid of that background, will you, Phil? It's annoying. Anyway. See, that's what happens when you use their kind of green screen thing. Okay, now, somebody already hung up. So, hi there. How are you? Hold on a second. Let me go to the Zoom panel here so they can see. Would you take that background away, Phil? Because it's not really. You're not, how can we call it, green screening very well.
All right.
Yeah, it's really annoying. It's because it's the one that comes with Zoom, and it doesn't really look all that
No,
good.
this is one of my photos.
No. I'm talking about the cutting, the keying. Isn't good.
Okay.
Yeah, so just do away with that. Hi there, Charlie. And let's see, who's there? Chip Luvens. Boy, I'm going to start calling you by the names that you put up there, John Larkin. You know.
Hi there, Charlie.
Wait a minute. Oh, hold on a second. You got your. Can you hear us, John? John. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and there's Rob, but we don't have much light on you, Rob. You're very. Yeah.
Monster lighting.
Monster lighting.
Yeah, I know where they like putting on the bright lights in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then we can't see you that well. You know, so.
Holy moly.
Yeah, what? Holy moly. What made you say holy moly?
Hair. It's going crazy.
I got it.
Nightmare.
I got mine cut.
I need a haircut.
I got a wife and a pair of clippers. That's what I got.
That'll work.
You're doing the same thing, aren't you?
John,
Aren't
did they close down barbers in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're
I got a haircut last week. I don't know if they're still open.
I think they're all they reclosed them all, I think.
Yeah.
It's not very. It's not a great place to during this crisis. You know. Tomorrow I gotta talk with. I guess Snyder will be calling me to do movie reviews, and I've held him off for a couple of weeks because there's no movie business right now. You know, they're releasing some stuff on online. But that's about it, you know. And so a lot of businesses are not coming back. You know, today they had a great report. Life is wonderful. Life is grand. We only have 11 million people, 11% uh, unemployment rate. Just a little bit of a problem, though. That was taken before this recent outbreak when everybody decided, oh, let's go open everything up. Let's see what it's like in a couple of weeks. You know, we're living in very dangerous times. I'm almost beginning to believe. I'm playing a video game where it's a world in which it's been taken over by people who have been infected and become zombies of sorts, but they don't call them zombies because zombies have been way overdone. Okay.
Trump supporters.
Trump supporters, yeah. And I just suddenly realized today this is getting very apocalyptic.
Yeah.
You know? Yes, Charlie.
Texas passed New Jersey now. We're number 3 behind California and New York. We're coming for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? In the number of cases? Because
Yeah.
New Jersey.
I'm surprised the sports betting places haven't reopened betting on states.
Yeah.
They should be. They're probably essential.
Yeah, yeah.
Boy, that guy in Texas, the DA, Dan Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That dude's subliterate fucking shit given, man. What a
Yeah.
crazy.
What did he say? He had a whole bunch of stuff about like don't wear masks, don't do this, don't do that.
Hey, just
Old people who throw themselves on the grenade for the young
Trump
people.
honestly believes, and Bree, why don't we see a picture on you, Bree? Bree? We don't even hear Bree.
He's not here yet.
He's not here yet? Well, it says
Free.
be free. So anyway,
He's muted, so is his camera on? Can you see?
his camera is not on. He's muted.
There
Oh,
he is.
there he goes. Okay, there we go.
It takes a few minutes for me to get everything set up, Alex. I'm sure you can relate.
Really? It doesn't no, it doesn't take me any time to get this going. I just have to turn everything on and they go. And then I fuck it up like I did a few minutes ago. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So anyway, the trouble is that Trump Trump is a very egotistical person. I mean, just absolutely. It's all about Donald
Where did
Trump.
you get that sense?
It's all about Donald Trump, and you hear these things like he feels that, for instance, the Black Lives Matter thing is actually against him. It was formed against him. Everything's about him. Everybody, people don't like him, and you know it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean,
Right.
I'm sorry, it isn't all about him.
That's the way he's lived his whole life, though.
I suppose, you know, that's what you get for being a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He's
why
like
he
a
sues
3-year-old.
everybody. I mean, he's been doing that way before he was president.
Yeah.
There's nothing new here.
Yeah. But
This
I
is
mean,
behavior
he
So he is.
yeah, I mean he just feels that wearing masks is an affront to him. It's meant to put him down. That supposedly is the word we get on his opinion about that. And you know, I mean, it's insane what we've got here. We have a very terrible person for the times. Okay, if there were no real problems going on and he could just loaf his way through the presidency, I suppose we wouldn't have anything to worry about, except his ego. But this is maybe the worst tragedy to befall this country as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and look who's president. Look who wasn't there to protect us and to figure out what to do. Or to at least say, okay, I don't know anything about this. I'll leave it up to my doctors. I'll leave it up to my authorities, who seem to know more about it than I do. But I mean, it's all about him. And he's today. I looked. Do you know how many people have died so far in this country? I just looked at it. I haven't paid attention to it for a couple of weeks.
130K now.
Almost 130,000 deaths, and I put those at the doorstep of Donald Trump.
Yep.
You know.
Just wait a few months, and then or maybe a year, and then people will say, "Oh, it never really happened. The numbers didn't happen." It's all.
Yeah.
That's what they'll say. Really, that didn't happen. It's like Parkland. All those shootings didn't happen. In case
Right.
you didn't know.
All
I mean,
hoax. Fake news.
Yeah, but I mean, how does he sleep at night? You know?
Like a baby.
Q3, Q4 is going to be huge. That's why.
Huh?
Q3 and Q4 are going to be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're going to be beautiful. You're going to have such beautiful. You wait for Q3 and Q4. It's going to be.
Well, it just started. Q3 just started, and that's why he started pumping up his economic stuff.
It's going to
Hey,
be.
I got to tell you, I hope Q3 and Q4 are great.
Yeah.
For all of our sakes, I hope.
Yeah. I hope he's right.
Of course.
But do you think he is?
No.
I think it's going to be a shit show.
the
That's
problem
next
is,
few weeks.
Great as compared to what?
Last June.
Yeah. he came out and gave that. He had his talk about the jobs and all these things, and
Yes.
the problem is, I mean, I hope that's true. I don't want to be the one who's always rooting for, he'll say,
Right.
well, the Democrats always, I'm not a Democrat. But anyway, of course, we want it to do well. Problem is, I can't believe anything he says. Not a single word. And
Well-
as I said, when he got elected, it was funny. It was fun. The media. And you're right, Alex, if everything was going normal, whatever.
I like nothing better than a good comedy act. Okay? And if that's all I had to get out of Trump, and that's all that mattered, I suppose I'd be happy. But unfortunately, we got hit with something just terrible here. Something that leadership has to deal with and has to be out front of. And you take a look at the way, for instance, Trump has handled the situation, and the way that, say, Andrew Cuomo has handled this situation. It's like night and day. I mean, I'm glad I live in New York State, but I'm worried that we're going to backslide because of all you people who are infected coming in here. Yes, John.
I think the last president that was hated really, like Trump was probably Nixon. But you kind of felt sorry for Nixon because you kind of saw the guy's kind of trying to do the right thing. But you look at Trump, and he's just a vile fucking subliterate shithead, And it's just,
who can't even read his daily briefings?
yeah. He's
You know, I mean,
But that's what he plays on, ad hominem attacks. As soon as you go that route,
Right.
And I know where it comes from, but
Where does
it's
it
like,
come
it's
from?
like mud. It's the mud pit, and we
Yep.
all go in the mud pit, and we're all.
where does
we're
it
all
where does it come from?
What do you mean?
You said you know where it comes from.
Oh, it comes from. It comes from the fact that it's the truth.
It's what?
It's the truth.
Oh, it's the truth. Oh, okay.
I mean, but you can't. As soon as you go that route, you sort of, in debate or argument style, you lose the ground. So then it's literally. I mean, we all know it. Don't wrestle with a pig. You'll get muddy, and the pig will be happy. And that's exactly how Trump has lived his whole life. He can pull you down and pull you into politics over any single thing. Everything is politics. I mean, people dying is politics.
Well, I look. I have to put this at the door. I'll blame Trump up to a point, but I have to put this at the doorstop of the American public. I mean, this is the one you brung to the dance, and it's like when he won that night, and I had to go in and tell Marjorie, who woke up and said, "What's happening?" I said, "Trump won," and she went, "Oh my God!" I said, "Yeah, but wait, let's hope for the best. Maybe he'll surprise us. I don't know. I doubt it, but maybe he'll surprise us." And I said, I hope he does, because, we don't want him to be bad. He turned out to be a guy who doesn't know how to be president. He just doesn't know how to be president. And I think that's the problem we've got. I think this notion that Americans had, and by the way, if I'm out of sync, folks, I'm going to be out of sync every night with this Zoom, but it works better. That he just doesn't know how to do the job, and people voted for him. And when you hear people say why they voted for him, they said, "Well, we figured, let's go for something different."
That's right.
Well, you went
exactly
for something different, and what did you get? You know, there's something to be said about hardcore politicians. They have it's their profession. They're a professional. They're like carpet layers who are professionionals, and you don't hire Tony to go in and put your rug in.
I think one of the big problems is he didn't get the right people around him. Also, I mean, he could have got different people, and he got these people who are friends or just no experience in those positions, and that made it even worse.
You know, which group of people? There's been so many.
You know, they keep they keep
Those
talking about
people
what
were not bad, but they couldn't work with them.
Concern was getting loyal people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't care if they were competent.
Right.
He just wanted somebody loyal.
Right.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, I mean, when you go get a financial reporter to be your Secretary of Finance or whatever, you know,
financial. It's his It's an economic advisor.
I don't think he's an economic advisor. I think he's actually got a post in the cabinet. He doesn't have a cabinet post.
Is Mnuchin the only guy from the original?
Mnuchin is, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's the only one left.
Well, Ben Carson, I think Ben Carson.
Yeah, but he's got such a minor position.
He's my eye doctor's brother-in-law.
Really?
Yeah, and they say the whole family hates him. So, you know, so much for Steve Mnuchin.
I take Ben Carson right now.
Huh? What'd you say?
You have a full house.
I take
Have a full
Ben
house?
Carson as
Oh,
president
okay.
right
So
now.
I should get out the full house thing?
Yeah.
The full house thing?
Mnuchin
Wait a
should
minute.
be in jail.
Full house,
He robbed the
go.
fucking country.
That's right.
When he took bailed out money for that bank he ran, and then he's foreclosed on all those people. I mean, you know, they took bailout money and bought out some bank that was going out of business with free money that they got from the government, and then they fucking started foreclosing on everybody, and he was just a scumbag.
Well, isn't that what Trump did with 9/11 money?
Yeah.
So, I mean, butt buddies.
Yeah, they could put them both in the same cell.
Butt buddies.
Yep. So you know, it's you know, I don't know what to say. All I'm saying is that we have 130,000 people who are dead, and I put that at the doorstep of Donald Trump, and he should not sleep well at night knowing what he's done to this country.
Did you see him run away from the questions today at after he did that press conference? He just made a beeline out of there without.
Yeah, he's been doing that lately, though.
And he knows he gets into trouble. He starts mentioning drink Clorox and such. You know?
Well, they're asking him about what are you going to do about Russia and the bounties, and he's just, you know, I ain't going to talk about that shit. I'm out of here.
Well, you know, I mean, he automatically dispenses with that by saying it's a hoax.
That he argues with the news media. Instead of arguing with the news media, he's just leaving. I think that's a good thing. You know, because
it's a good thing.
Actually, it is a good thing.
It isn't going to benefit him by arguing and saying your question stinks. So he doesn't take those questions. He just leaves.
Well, then why? Here's my question. Okay. Yes,
Phil. A quick question for you. What was the main focus, the main purpose of what the news media is supposed to do? Are they to blow right, but they're supposed to also be the watchdog. They're supposed to ask the tough questions. They're supposed to probe and make sure that's what the news media was. News people, media is a
news. But now they're publishing things like the New York Times, which are not founded in fact yet.
Based on
bullshit.
What article are you talking? What story?
Well, you know, Phil, I would have to argue with you that the Times doesn't sit around and say, "Oh, we just found out something shitty about Trump. Let's not vet it. Let's just publish it." They vet this stuff. They want more than one source for these stories. They don't just blatantly run a story like this.
Anonymous.
That's been going on since time immemorial. These people protect sources.
Yeah, you protect sources.
That's the whole idea. Otherwise, nobody would ever say a word.
But what they do vet are, excuse me, Tony, what they do vet are those sources.
Right.
You know, you don't know who they are because they say an anonymous source, but they know who the anonymous source is, and they have vetted those sources.
Although the government agency that vets the information said that it was not conclusive, that they couldn't.
Who was the agency? Who said they vetted and it wasn't conclusive?
I think it was the CIA.
Fox News?
No, I think it was the CIA.
Phil, here's what I think people are mad about. What they're mad about is that the CIA has said that they did put it in his daily briefings and that he didn't read it. That's the fault.
The briefer, it was a woman, and she said that she didn't give it to him.
Oh, come on.
Who does she work for?
Whatever that agency is.
It's called Donald. It's called the president.
NSA?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think about what agency she worked for.
Or is it somebody that's in his cadre who wants to stay there?
No, it's an independent briefer that
They bring in an independent briefer, Phil? I don't believe that.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with his administration. It's a government employee.
Yeah, it's the CIA.
It was a woman. I don't know which agency, three-letter agency she works for, but it's one of them.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, Tony. Tony's been trying to get it.
Here, Alex, when you were talking about the press.
Yeah.
If we didn't have deep throat for Watergate, Nixon would still be president, Phil. They have.
He was.
See, Trump is doing disinformation, and that's the Russians' handbook. Only believe what I say, and everything else is not true.
Tony, the disinformation is coming from the Russians. That's true.
Oh,
but the problem is it's not Trump that is listening to those dog whistles. It's you Democrats.
No, but Phil, it has nothing to do with Democrats. You're going to tell me that every newspaper is always having.
Not every newspaper. Read the Washington
Times. Doesn't like the story.
Oh, read the Washington Times. You want to talk about fake news?
No, as far as I can tell, I'm very
well,
happy
only because it's telling you what you want to hear.
And MSNBC
listen, Phil, if you want to say MSNBC sucks, you'll find a good friend here in myself. I think MSNBC sucks horribly.
And the Washington Post.
Because
New York
because
Times.
MSNBC is so one-sided, it's ridiculous. I'm annoyed by it. Okay, I think CNN is less biased, oddly enough. I find Fox is very biased.
Oh boy!
And Newsmax. Come on.
I tuned into Fox today. We have 100. The 30 states now are reporting.
What are they talking about?
I was watching CNN. I'm sitting out here and I'm watching CNN today, and I probably spent 30, 40 minutes watching CNN, and then I hitting around and I said, let's see what Fox is doing. So. CNN has the breakdown of all the people who've died and everything on the screen. It stays there. They're heavy into this, right? They're taking you into the hospitals in Texas. They did an expose on the hospitals in Texas that blew my mind today, right? I switch over to Fox News, and all they're talking about is the economy, that the report that came out, and then by the way. There are some states where the rates are going higher, but we'll tell you more about that in a commercial after the commercial break. And they're playing down anything that's not a strong point to Trump.
I mean, let me ask you this question, Phil. I'm putting my hands over my mouth, and you won't say I'm out of sync. No,
you're not out of sync. I don't think.
Well, no, but I'm out of sync on the show. It's been that way since we started using Zoom, but I don't care. As long as you don't care, folks.
Like a cheap Japanese movie.
It's like a cheap Japanese movie. Doesn't it bother you in the least that this whole? I mean, I think you're beyond believing that the coronavirus thing is a hoax thought up by the Democrats, right? I don't think you believe that, do you?
I believe that there is a major virus and it's very contagious. And I think we were attacked by the Chinese.
How did they do that?
They released the virus.
Yeah, because they released it on themselves first.
Yes,
you see, because in order to get us, they released it on themselves first, killed a lot of their own people, so they could then infect us.
I believe that what happened was
that
their
the virus
lab
was found in Spain.
Their lab in Wuhan had an issue with the virus, and they stopped all travel within China from Wuhan, but they allowed international travel from Wuhan internationally. And that was the attack. Why does China have so few, or at least they admit to so few, whereas the rest of the world
Phil,
was
Phil,
devastated by
you
it?
could say, okay, they're fucked up, but and they fucked up, but how about Trump, who didn't close the European travel to the United States and caused New York to become a petri dish?
He did.
No, he didn't.
As soon as they
A
realized,
month and a half after he did what he did in
think it was
China,
that long.
which, by the way, the China ban was only a limited ban.
You could go back and
January 31st, he stopped the Chinese from coming in.
Well, no, he
I think
didn't
it was- I
stop
think it
all
was-
Chinese
it
from
was the
coming,
first
Phil.
week of
Phil,
February.
he didn't stop all Chinese from coming.
It was the first week of
he limited
February.
travel. I know.
I think all of this is all of
The
this.
first week of February, he locked down Europe.
I
no,
think
he
all of
didn't.
this
No,
is-
he did not. It wasn't until March 15th. I know that for a fact, Phil.
I'm willing to give everybody the benefit of the doubt about January, February, and into early March, because nobody. I mean, there were people saying it, but there are people on the other side, right? What's happened since April, May, and all of these Republican or red states that are reopening that have and having a big. I saw the interview with the South Dakota governor yesterday, who is clearly in Trump's neck. He's going there. He's promoting this. I'll give you the beginning, Phil. All right. You know what? Nobody expected this to be as bad as it was. But how, when you see what's going on, how do you not just lock everything down? How do you not, how does Trump, in any good faith, have this thing that he's going to do on Saturday for 4th of July? How? And how can you respect that? That's what I don't understand. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. The other shit is old. Okay, good. It's water under the bridge. You think we'd have learned by now, or he would have learned by now?
It's going to be his last fireworks, I'll tell you that.
Now, we know that the guy...
Well, you didn't answer Rob's question.
I'm answering it. We know the guy from Godfather's Pizza got coronavirus. What's his name?
Good. He's an asshole.
Yeah, Herman Cain.
Herman
Cain, right.
Herman Cain at
Now,
Oklahoma.
And he's in the hospital because he can't breathe.
Right.
Yep.
He's not on a respirator, but he
Not yet.
has. He has.
Have you ever eaten his pizza? You would be.
No. And he attended the Tulsa, Oklahoma rally.
Right.
Yep.
Other than him, are there any other reported cases?
Yes.
that came
Yes.
out of-
Yes.
out of the rally?
Yes. They're starting
It's
to come
not
out
even
now.
2 weeks yet. It's not even. It'll be 2 weeks Saturday.
And they're coming out. Phil,
There was
there
like
is a
12 Secret
surge.
Service people that are infected.
But you still didn't answer my question.
Well,
With what we
I'm-
see going on, how is it even possible that this man would consider having an event, standing up a governor to say, we're going to have we're not going to be social distance, and if you don't want to wear a mask, that's quite all right. How do you respect that?
It's not a matter of respect. I think that the
gonna
state
kill
that
me.
they're going to be visiting has such a low infection rate.
They want to get it up there, right?
So did California.
Herd
So did
immunity,
all the
but
states.
it has a low infection rate, and what Trump has been saying all along is that some states don't.
Phil, you don't do
follow
something
those
which is
guidelines.
going to encourage an infection rate. Phil, you're not
he's-
going to do something that's going to encourage an infection rate.
And he's not uniting everybody. He's not
doesn't
telling
have to.
people. He's
People
doesn't.
are
He's
individuals.
president.
Look,
You think
it's very simple.
illiterate
Alex
shit
said
giving.
yesterday, he said yesterday that he's for a president making an executive order that orders everybody in the country to wear a
Alex,
mask.
Alex, you got
Hold on a
bombers
second. Hold on a
Here we
second.
go. Here we go.
First of
The
all,
battalion's coming.
I got to do this. Wait a minute.
Media
Hold
press.
on. Hold
Luis
on.
Daniel.
We'll enable the
Free-
waiting
who are we
room.
freeing tonight?
And then,
Who are we freeing tonight?
Well, I'm not even going to wait to
Free
find
Gabnet.
out. Let me
Free
see
Gabnet.
here. Remove and
Loses.
remove. Let's see here. Remove.
What do you
Okay.
got against the Spanish people?
There we go.
There's some porn up there. Come
Oh,
on.
there we go. Okay. Oh, I've got. Listen, who I've got here. Well, iPhone 6. Who is that? It's somebody who normally calls us, I think. Let me see here. Let me let iPhone 6 join. Well, they says they're joining,
I don't see it.
but they're not. No, I see it on my list here of people in the waiting room.
there it
Familia Cortez, Familia, yeah. iPhone 6, are you there? Are you there? Is this anybody I should want to talk
Got
to?
newer iPhones, by the way.
Huh? Wait a minute. What is that? No.
Is that Sibby? No.
No.
Manny Cam.
What? No. I don't.
Minicam, that means.
Okay. All right. Well,
Minicam means that's.
Okay. Well, here we go. Here we go. Remove.
Minicam,
okay.
that means you can broadcast your camera on multiple.
Wait a minute. I just said remove. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, it's a bomber.
Okay.
Now we're getting makeup tips.
Okay. Well, we don't have to. We don't have to
But
pick.
California, right? All these states were going down. We're going down, and then everybody loosened up, and everybody came up. So North Dakota can be
Well,
the state.
that's the fault of the people.
No, that's the fault of the president.
You are always a victim rather than just realizing that it's the actions the individual takes that they should be responsible for their actions.
Yeah, but you know
And-
what,
and
Phil?
by
If you-
ordering everybody by executive order to wear a mask, where you can go to some areas of the country that they don't need to.
That's right. Where I live, you don't need to, but we do. And I'll tell you this: if your president would say you should wear a mask, and people, then his followers would embrace it, and it wouldn't be a political discussion.
He did. He said
politicized it.
No, you people politicize.
Oh, come
What he
on.
said was, hey, it would be a good idea if you're not social distancing to wear a mask.
But he
said,
doesn't.
I don't need to because everybody around me is tested. And
Testing doesn't. No.
When those guys with the guns showed up at the courthouses, he said, what did he say? Liberate Minnesota, liberate Michigan, or whatever, you
Yeah.
know, and you know, retain your Second Amendment rights. Come on. What was he calling? He was calling for just
no,
to
he
reopen
wasn't.
the
You
state.
and your dog whistles.
We don't understand. We don't understand the president.
said
Everybody,
it, not
most
me.
people don't understand the president. You have to
I
be
do.
one of the 35% who follows him, who can like decipher. It's sort of like code. It's sort of like when the CIA sends code. You have to. If I say to you, "Get ice cream," it means something completely different. That's the
Well,
way
I
it is.
guess I'm in the fast reading group. You know?
Oklahoma.
You can look at it that
Oklahoma
way.
was Oklahoma was spiking, and he still had his rally.
Yeah, the fact is that Oklahoma, it has come by. We're a little less than 14 days now since the rally,
Oh.
and there is a major spike in Tulsa, and they think it's as a result of the of that.
But there's no major spikes where people were rioting, like in Seattle.
Phil, where you
they were
asked the
wearing
question about how only the guy from Papa
Because-
John's was there. Anybody else, you know? Yes, there are lots of them, Phil.
Okay, if you go to a big box store,
Phil,
that's
that was
okay,
irresponsible
but you can't go to
behavior on the part of the president to hold his rally in that town when the coronavirus was on the rise, and to not tell people to wear
Hey,
masks
what
and
about,
not to
you know,
socially distance and to not protect those people and have them sign a pledge that they wouldn't sue him if they got coronavirus.
he believes that part of this is manufactured, and
Well,
we're gonna
but it's
get-
not,
people
Phil.
Get the flu.
Tell
anyway.
the 130,000 people almost who are dead that it was a manufactured
This
hoax.
is a virulent flu. This is a
Whatever it
virulent
is, it's still killing people.
Influenza.
It is
But
not
Phil-
the flu.
It was created
Bill
in
and his
China.
side do not believe those numbers, Alex.
If
they
you,
don't exist.
yeah, if
to
you
them.
want to argue that,
I think the
will you let me
numbers are
finish,
pumped
Phil? If you want to argue, okay, that that the flu every year kills 30 to 40,000 people,
Right.
the average. This is 130,000, Phil.
This is more
He's
virulent.
going. He's just going.
Going.
This,
And we-
this is a stronger flu.
And what is the president doing about it? How is
Well,
he helping to
he-
unite this
his
country?
position- his job is to get the states the things that they need, like PPE, and
That's an old one,
and
Phil.
he
Everybody
built-
has
he
PPE
built-
now.
He built the well. He did what he was supposed to do. That's what he was supposed to
Phil,
do.
what he's supposed to do. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Phil, stop a second. What a president is supposed to do beyond that is he is a leader. And he is supposed to be out front of these things. And look at what a guy like Cuomo did with his daily briefings to the public and to the press. And how he handled, wait a minute, let me finish. And how he handled it. That was presidential. That's what you do. You don't say, I'm the governor, so I'll just hand out masks.
So therefore, if you don't like the messenger, you don't give a
It
shit
isn't a
what his
question
message
about the
is.
messenger. The messenger isn't delivering a message.
Right, he's not
He
delivering a
delivered
message,
it to
Phil.
me. He delivered
What
it
was
to
what was the message he
people
delivered to
that
you,
aren't
Phil?
so
Please tell me
angry.
what did he deliver to you?
He's supposed to use Clorox, right?
No.
No, a
He's-
black light shoved up your ass.
He thinks outside the box, and he thinks out loud, and he throws out ideas, and so
Good failure.
he said to Bricks and Fauci, hey. Why can't they use light? If sunlight
Because he
does-
sounded stupid.
well,
That's it.
Phil?
because you don't like the messenger.
No, I don't like the
You
messenger.
message.
I don't like
Another-
the stupidity, Phil.
Another question for you,
wasn't
Phil.
stupid.
And I'm
It's
trying to
true.
remain really calm and have a serious discussion about this.
I
Another.
appreciate
So
that.
prior to Donald Trump, in your lifetime, who was another president that you thought was really great in this country? Reagan?
Ronald Reagan.
So would Ronald Reagan have handled it this way? He was somebody who was extremely presidential. In fact, you could even say that after Carter, we were really suffering. The White House, the presidency, Americans, our pride was really hurting. We had that problem. We couldn't do that rescue. Remember with the helicopter that went down and all that. Ronald Reagan. I didn't like Reagan, but he did come in and he united people, and he was presidential. And if this pandemic would have happened during Ronald Reagan's time, he would not have handled it this way.
Well,
He would not be dividing people.
Biden-
bringing people
Biden-
together.
Biden has been in government for 51 years.
Wait,
We're not talking about Biden, Phil.
What is
Wait a
he
minute, wait a
done?
minute. We're
No,
not talking about
Pelosi,
Phil.
Barbara-
Off topic.
Going
Off
into the
topic.
mic.
No,
You're-
it's
going
not.
It's
the
off
mic.
topic
The
because we're not
problem is-
discussing Biden.
Those
You
pigs
keep
look happy.
interrupting me.
No, I'm interrupting you because you're taking this thing off into a
No,
ditch.
Trump, listen to me. Trump is a different kind of president. He's getting things done.
Yeah, he's a
whereas-
different kind of president.
and
He
he's-
sucks.
He's attacking the swamp like
man.
people like
I'm
Biden
getting
and
lightheaded from this
Pelosi
discussion.
and Schumer
Oh.
that have hundreds of years combined of
Oh God!
legislative.
This
doing
has nothing to do with what we're talking
And,
about,
what have
Phil.
they done for the last 3
It's
years?
not.
the
This
12
isn't
years?
what we're talking about, Phil.
Well,
It's not what we're talking
is,
about.
because it's all
Plus, I'm getting lightheaded. I've been lightheaded all day, and this is making me almost pass
What do
out.
you think? What do you think about Trump dismantling Obama's COVID plans that he passed on to Trump, and Trump they just threw it out. They just completely dismantled the whole.
It was a
thing.
pandemic plan. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that he had a different plan, and then that Bolton, who was in charge, was it NSA? NSA became in charge of the health organizations, and Bolton fired a number of people and changed the structure. That didn't mean that there wasn't any structure. It just means that the structure was changed. So there was some guy that got fired, and
they threw the playbook out.
No.
They had a
they threw
playbook.
that playbook
Before
out.
Bolton even came aboard, Obama had a plan that would work through the CDC, where the CDC would work with China and other countries. They would coordinate on these kinds of pandemics and things. They had plans, and Trump dismantled all that. He didn't want to have any kind of cooperation with China or anything like that, other than his crazy personal relationship with Xi Jinping.
How did the Chinese cooperation work for us now?
They don't work.
wasn't
Was
any.
none.
There wasn't any. That's
Well,
right.
that,
Really,
because he
if
threw
you're
the
gonna
playbook out.
criticize them and
Let
call them
me-
names
let me- wait a minute, hold on a second.
why are they gonna fucking cooperate with us?
Let me ask
Because
you a
they were
question,
killing
Phil.
people
Phil,
around the
please.
world.
You're making me pass out here. You're really making my head swim.
All right,
you
talk
know.
about something else.
No,
How
no,
about
no, no,
microphone?
no. I'm on. The whole relationship that he said he was getting going with China and how he was going to make China play with our playbook, and then what about North Korea? What happened with that?
Well, that's a good question because prior to Trump talking to North Korea,
Yeah, I don't hear this
President Obama said North Korea is the biggest threat that is in
We're
the world
not
today.
talking about
And now, are they
Obama.
still?
That's
a big
not the
threat?
question I asked
That's
you,
the
Phil.
worst.
That's
Yeah,
not.
you said what happened with North Korea.
No, what happened with North Korea in that he
Yeah,
said,
more
well, I think
nuclear
we have a
missiles
deal
now.
and I can talk to my friend Kim Jong-un and all of that.
Right.
And the other day, Kim Jong-un basically went,
Well, Kissinger started with a ping pong game. Trump also is doing it his way. I think there's been communication between an outlaw country like North Korea, and to tell you the truth, even with China, what Trump wants is just a fair deal, and China was eating our lunch. Now companies are coming back and they're realizing how bad it is.
Where's that beautiful healthcare that's cheaper?
We're still going to buy masks. We're still going to buy masks from China.
Beautiful.
we're still, I just bought some myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going to have the best health care, remember? When
Yeah.
he had control
it's
of
gonna be
the
beautiful.
he had control of the
McCain-
Senate. He had control of the Senate. No,
And
no, no.
McCain.
Wait. McCain only stopped them from ripping down Obamacare.
Right.
He didn't. We have not heard one word about what a plan would be. He
Well,
hasn't
you
told
have to
Americans.
Get rid of
No,
the Obamacare, and
No,
then
no,
you can
no.
institute something else.
No. You come up with a plan and replace it. You don't just try, because this is what he did with the playbook. He got rid of the playbook. He didn't have a playbook. And then he said, he didn't even say we'll figure it out. If you look at the headlines today, in fact, I was looking tonight, he just finally said, we're putting together a whole new team now to do what? Yeah, if you look at the news, he's putting together a whole new team.
But Rob, thank goodness we got that wall.
Yeah. 212 beautiful miles.
Mexico's
I
happy.
mean, it's like the Great Wall of China. It's perfect. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
If he could, he'd put a moat there.
Hey, Alex,
Yes.
you're breathing better today.
I'm breathing better today.
Yeah, you sound like you're not as sick today.
Well, I'm
Maybe
not.
he's gonna hyperventilate.
I'm not having that much of a problem that way. But I'm very lightheaded today and tired, and there's something in the air here, and
It was hot today.
I'm beginning to think it's something in this apartment.
Really?
By the way, just a side note, and then we'll get back to Trump. I get woken up this morning by Marjorie saying to me, "Come look." She said, "I'm being like Brian on Family Guy. Come look." And I went, "Okay, what's she doing?" And she went, I went, "Okay, what?" And she said, "Look," and it was a dead mouse.
You got it.
A dead mouse. Dead mouse. She said, "But you do something about it." I said, "Well, give me those kitchen tongs," and I picked it up and threw it in the garbage.
Hey, Alex, can I ask you a
We'd have to
question?
sandblast the kitchen tongs after that.
Yeah.
Can I
Well,
ask
we
a
don't
question?
have a
Bree left.
Bree
Say goodbye.
My question is, which room in your apartment do you spend the most amount of time?
I don't know, bedroom, office, one or the other.
Okay. Had you considered getting an air cleaner that
Yes.
got a HEPA filter in it?
Yes,
and will
but I don't have the
filter out?
power in this apartment to plug it in. Okay,
Well, it's
and have an air
computers.
conditioning going at the same time.
What about the dehumidifier, Alex? Like you
And
said, that
plus,
might-
they cost a lot of money.
Not
Yeah,
too
they're
bad.
not cheap. They're $400 or $500.
Yeah,
but,
$400 or $500.
But the thing is, if you leave it in the room, leave it with the air conditioner off while you're not in the room, have it cleanse that air, and then when you go in, see if you're getting the same effect.
Well, I'm not going to buy a $500 HEPA filter on the per chance that it's going to make this go away.
Try renting it then.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well,
Borrow one.
But anyway, so
You know,
what,
if you're getting sick and you're getting lightheaded, you may want to ask yourself, and you think that that's what it is. It's probably not a bad thing to do.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I also have. I woke up
Or
a couple
is
of
there a way
times
they
in
can
my
test the
sleep
air?
last night, gasping, which I don't normally do, and I
Can they
thought
test
maybe
the
I
air?
have apnea. Is
Yeah,
maybe a
that's
problem too.
Have you been to get the test on your arm where they play tic-tac-toe?
No, I haven't done that. But you know, the problem is I can't go to any doctor right now because, you know, it's very difficult to see doctors at this point.
There's a test.
I know, but you have to go to a doctor to do it.
No, they just draw your blood and they send it into a lab in Florida, and but that test
Phil,
for 200 foods and other allergy, other.
By the way, that thing last night you sent me about zinc. Was exactly what I said about zinc, and what the article said was that there's no evidence either way about it. As regards COVID. No, it can't hurt you, but I've been taking zinc for years. I've got these little pills. Where are they? I have them still here somewhere. Coldies. When I'm getting a cold, you take them, and they have zinc in them. That's what.
They're tough to taste on those things. Is
but it does soften a cold. But you know, there's no proof that it does anything for COVID, right, Brian?
Right.
You know, and I didn't want you coming on here and telling people, oh, there's the proof that zinc, blah 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 blah. And that article you sent me didn't say anything more than I had said, and that was that zinc is good for colds, but who knows? It probably doesn't work for COVID.
Matter of fact, the article did say
no,
that
it didn't.
It helped with the COVID symptoms.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
No, it did not, Phil.
I sent it to all you guys. Did you read it?
Yes, and did you guys read it? Any of you?
I don't know if we sent it to them.
It goes in a deleted file.
I'm sorry, I don't read my daily briefings.
No bullet points.
Mm-hmm. However, if you send it to me as a cartoon, I might read it. Okay.
Stick figures.
Stick figures. Yeah. So anyway,
there's a picture of Kane I don't see it on here, but they showed it on CNN with all these people, and I guess they had those seats they had seats marked off you're not supposed to sit in, but everybody sat together. They're all posing for pictures. So
saw that.
Oh my God.
You know,
all of them catch it.
Yeah, exactly.
My neighbors here are having a big party this weekend.
I'm not going.
Bye.
I wouldn't go to the rally. I wouldn't go to the rally. It's
wait a minute. They're having a party. Are you going, Rob?
Hell no. I already told them. I said, have fun. I'm sitting out here. We'll be watching my TV. Got my cigars. I got my scotch. And I'm going to celebrate 4th of July right here. Alone.
Right. Well, they had a ice cream social down in the courtyard tonight, and I didn't go down. You know.
Catch it for ice cream.
What?
I could buy I make my own ice cream.
What was funny is the temperature outside was 92 degrees, and they were serving ice cream.
Yeah, it's hot.
There's some kids that had a party, I guess, over the weekend, and then the guy who was throwing the party was already starting to catch COVID. He already started to feel bad. Still had the party, and then a bunch of people, I guess, got it caught, and then they tried to do tracers. They called them, some of the people from the party, and they wouldn't say who they were with.
It was a college football team party.
Really?
Was it Alabama? And they were trying to infect themselves. And they think that the reason they did that was so that they would get the virus prior to football season, and therefore they'd be able to play, because if they got it during football season, they wouldn't be able to play, and it was affecting their ability to be seen by...
wow.
You know what really bothers me, though? By the way, Howard, you haven't said anything tonight, so if you want to jump in with anything, please, feel free, you know. And Bree, if you want to call back by any chance and you're listening, I have a wall up in the put you in the waiting room, but I'll see your name and I will admit you. Okay, I always look to see if it's people I know. Okay, all right. Anyway,
so did you want to hear about my hobby?
Oh, he's going to view a new house. That's what he said.
No. It has to do with pickling. I'm going to make sauerkraut.
Ooh.
You're going to make your own sauerkraut?
Yeah, one of my hobbies is I love to ferment things.
You know
I just
something?
did
This
like
is
25,000.
amazing that I've gone this far in my life, but I don't know how you make sauerkraut. What do you use?
Salt water.
Fermented cabbage?
No, but do you use cabbage?
Yeah.
Is that what you use?
Cabbage, salt, water, thyme.
Mhm.
So I use an airlock system, an anaerobic environment, so that no bad bacteria can grow, only the good bacteria can grow.
Mhm.
And then I flavor it up. I'm going to make one with pineapple, ginger, turmeric, cabbage, onions, garlic.
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Sounds like kimchi.
Sounds great.
I make a kimchi too. That's basically a pineapple one. I do actually put the Korean chilies in there.
Yeah.
What's the difference between kimchi and sauerkraut?
Sauerkraut's
They're all
cleaner.
basically fermented cabbage. I guess it's a flavor. One's
I
Korean.
mean, the kimchi they bury,
Okay.
don't they?
Okay. Well,
in the ground?
anyway.
in the bottle.
Yeah. Okay.
They do in Korea.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, I guess what bothers me most of all these days is that we are such a capitalistic country that we're more worried about the economy coming back than about people dying. I actually saw one person on television, some right winger, who said, "Well, if some people die because of this, we can't let the economy suffer as a result." Damn it! What kind of thinking is that? Where does that mentality come from?
There's got to be a balance. We can't destroy the world's economy. Look, I'm no, you have to balance it to some degree. You really do. We have to figure out how to live with this. We do, because this is the new normal.
But that's what we
right
didn't
now.
do. We suddenly went back in with both feet.
Well, we had protests. We did. Some states did. I'll tell you what my state's doing. Every week, they're going phases. How do you do it in a week?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you do it in a
you wait
week?
at least 2 weeks between phases. Yes, Charlie's got his hand up.
Yeah, there are ways to save people's lives and the economy. New Zealand, South Korea,
right,
Australia, Germany. There are ways to do it. Just look at what they did and do
Science.
Well, also, what the problem is they say,
because the virus dictates what happens, not people.
They say we've got to get the economy back, okay? And so let's open everything up. Well, you opened everything up, and now you're having to shut it down again, and that's having an adverse effect on the economy. What you do if you want to bring the economy back, you do it, as Rob was suggesting, in phases, and you carefully do it, and you test, and you use science and data, and you do what we did here in New York State. Now, look, if you're going to use a model to solve this problem, just look to New York State and what New York State has done and how it's doing it.
Alex?
Because, let me finish, Phil. Because we've been successful. And so far, now we don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the country infecting us, but so far it hasn't been a major problem here any longer. And we have done it by doing it in phases and by looking at data and by testing and by letting the data drive us. Yes, Rob?
When you are young and you want to build a career and you say, I want to be whatever you pick it. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a successful lawyer. I want to be a successful finance guy. What do? You go find somebody who's been successful at it, and you try to find a mentor who will work with you and teach you what they did. That's the same thing. So a model like New York State, they did a great job. Maybe people should be paying attention to what New York did. Or other countries, what they've done. Not just design a plan that says, all right, in a week we're going to do this, the following we're going to do that, the following we're going to do that, and nothing's changed. The virus is still there.
Well, you
something? Have to find what works and copy it.
Cuomo has said that he has put the offer out to any governor who wants our plan and aid and ideas from us. He's there to do it. And I guess nobody's asked him yet.
Of course not,
because
except for the Northeast governors. Right? They all.
Well, the Democratic governors say fine, but the Republicans go, we don't want Cuomo to come in here and tell us what.
Of course not.
But it isn't, as Cuomo has said so many times, this isn't Republican, this isn't Democrat, this isn't left, this isn't right. This is a disease, this is a virus that knows none of that. It takes prisoners everywhere, okay? And that you can't handle this as a political thing, and you can't say, I'm not going to do this because the Democrat is doing that. Well, what the Democrat did here was not play politics. He simply, he got help from Trump when he needed it, and he praised Trump when he needed to. He held no quarter at being political at any point in all of this. And as he said, I'm not running for anything, and this is I'm trying to handle this to solve the problem. Well, he did. We brought the whole amount down. I mean, 10 people died yesterday, 5 a week ago. But, I mean, it fluctuates back and forth. The fact is that if these people were to say, well, what is New York doing and how are they getting things back? I mean, we're getting most of our economy back now, without a rise or a spike in cases. But we did it because it was measured, because it was done in increments, and because it was done adhering to science and data. And that's what you need to do.
Restaurants are still closed in New York, right?
He decided that he wasn't going to let indoor exist because he felt that the civilian population wasn't as disciplined as they had been in the past, and he doesn't want to take that chance. He says indoors you've got to, he's recommending that maybe some filters, some HEPA filters, might work. I can't remember the name of them. But when you've got people in a closed area with an air conditioner, you've got these particles being spewed everywhere. And he's worried about that. He thinks that may be a bad point. So now you still have to eat outside. But, restaurants are happy to do that. They're happy to have some kind of business. Now, Phil.
I used to eat outside in Manhattan all the time.
Yeah. Phil, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that what's happening is that the goalpost continues to move. The whole idea of the shutdown was it was going to be 14 days, and it was going to be shut down for 14 days so that they didn't overrun the hospitals. Now, by moving the goalpost and moving the goalpost and moving the goalpost, you're trying to kill the economy and kill the.
Well, we're not trying to kill.
He has created.
Phil, it isn't about Trump. It's about the American public surviving this and doing it in a measured and intelligent and smart way. Yes, Charlie.
People that are dead.
Charlie,
we got to move the goalposts. You got to change it. It's a fucking
Republicans
fire. It's out of control.
Okay,
Republicans now are going backwards. Phil.
Charlie has his hand up. Charlie.
Yeah. Phil,
What's that mean, Rob?
What do you mean? What does that mean? Republican states are now shutting down again.
And that's
true. So is Illinois. So is California.
But I'm just saying. What I'm saying to you is, you're saying that the Democratic states are trying to kill the economy. They're not. They're trying to protect their people and open smartly. Now the Republican states are doing the same thing. They have to close. They have to.
They're
Some
doing
do.
it too late.
Some do.
The
But you can't.
hospitals in Texas are full. They're making decisions, and here's your fucking death panels. They're making decisions on who to treat because there's not enough hospital beds to cover all the COVID patients that they're having now because that fucking asshole Abbott opened up the economy on May 1st.
Charlie, the sky is falling. So
It
you
is
moved
falling.
some of
It
the
is
charges.
falling, Phil.
real.
You haven't
moved
looked,
some of the patients
Phil.
Phil, that is
Galveston.
real. You
It is
come to
falling.
Texas, you go to a major hospital, and you show me some rooms that are open. There aren't any.
If you move the ship, the hospital ship to Galveston, you can transfer patients.
Phil.
You gotta
But
need a whole bunch of them.
nobody's moving the hospital ship to Galveston yet. Okay, you're going if, what, when. None of this. All of this is serious fucking business, Phil. You can't think of it as being something against Trump or it's against the Republicans.
That's what Trump thinks, though.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. So they believe that.
Ship to Dallas.
What
How you going to get a hospital ship to Lubbock and Amarillo?
You can get it to Houston, but that's about it. And only as far as, what do you call it, the San Jacinto Monument. Yes, Tony.
You know what said that the virus God came to our country and in an election year, and that's all he was worried about.
Yep.
If this was 2 years ago, I think he handles it differently, potentially.
You might be 100% right about that. You might be 100%
You know something?
right
The
about
sad part for Trump is, Tony, is if he had handled this well, if he'd have handled this decently and in the right way, and with the advice of a lot of the medical people around him and so on, he'd be a shoo-in in November.
Oh, I agree, yeah.
He'd be a shoo-in in November, but he didn't. And it's his fault. Yes.
He could have won over a lot of people.
Yes, John.
There's an article, you can read it for free on the Atlantic website by James Follow, and he compares the response to the COVID thing, the whole response by Trump, and he compares in the piece, he compares it to the airline industry and flying airplanes and how everything's I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's free. Go read it. It's a great article.
Yeah.
It's in the Atlantic.
Charlie, I just wanted to say to you that, I really liked your anger there because it looks like you're getting frustrated with the whole situation in Texas.
I'm literally scared to go outside. If I get sick, you think they're going to treat me over a 35-year-old? Hell no, they're going to let me die.
Yeah.
Charlie, I hate to say it. Did you ever I can't believe I'm going to say this. Would it be worth leaving Texas now for a couple of months?
Where do you do that? Where do you go? There are 35 states right now that are suitably infected.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go to New Zealand.
Who you can stay with?
Yeah.
No smart state would let me.
Now, Jeff, you're up in Cape Cod area, right?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
And it's anywhere in New England. It's very risky these days. In Maine, you can't get into Maine.
Maine's terrible right now.
Yeah.
What do they block the roads?
They just said it takes 2 weeks that you get tested before you can come in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We can't go to Europe now. Americans can't go to Europe.
And by the way, I sent away for a new passport, and it doesn't look like I'm going to get it in the usual 2 months to get it back, because they say at the passport place that they had to send all their people home, and they couldn't work from home doing this, and they're backlogged 1,300,000 passports right now.
Jeez.
Are they still?
But then again, I thought about it, and where am I going to go?
Are they still allowing expedited passports for an extra $100? I think
it's not expedited. It is life or death. They call it. If you have life or death circumstances, you can expedite it. But that's the only way you can expedite it. So I mean, these are.
They're not. If you look at a passport and you see how it's created and all that, they can't do it remotely. So you have to have people who are.
Well, I don't think we actually do them here in this country. I think they're actually.
We don't even do our own.
I think the passports are done in another country. Yeah.
Made in where? Taiwan or Japan or China?
I just discovered a thing on Zoom. You may all be aware of it, but if you mute yourself and you hold down the spacebar key, it's kind of like on the radio, where you can push the spacebar, push to talk. It's pretty interesting.
Let me see. Can I do it? Can you hear me?
Yep.
You can hear me?
And then you do the space bar?
Yep.
What does it do?
The space bar allows you to talk. When you let go of the space bar, it stops. It turns.
You have to mute yourself and then press the space bar to speak.
Oh, to speak. Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
It's a shame, though, that so many people.
Now, if we can do something about this slight delay that makes us all look like a bad Japanese movie, You know, it'll be fine. But I've been looking online for ways to solve that problem.
Woody Allen made. Remember that movie that Woody Allen made? From
What's Up, Tiger Lily? His first film.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I guess the thing that bothers me the most of all, I feel like as frustrated as Charlie, and that is that, you know, it didn't have to get this bad. It didn't get this bad in other European countries. They stem the tide really fast, you know, and we've suddenly become, I mean, when I look at the map, U.S. 2,735,554 people infected. Brazil is up to 1,496, 1,496. Russia's at 660,000. But you could look down the list, and when you get down the list, it isn't until you get to the number 6 spot that you come to the United Kingdom. Spain and Italy are like 8th and 9th or something like that. You know, we're terrible, just terrible. Yes, Phil.
You know, in some of these other countries, they were able to say, if we see you on the street during the lockdown, we'll shoot you or arrest you. Whereas in the United States, we have a Bill of Rights and we have a Constitution.
Did they do this in Italy?
Yeah.
They said they'll shoot you in Italy? No.
People weren't allowed out of their house.
No, they weren't allowed out of their house.
If they went out of their house, they'd be arrested.
No, they get fined.
No, they got arrested.
Yeah, I think they got arrested.
Yeah.
Well,
And
maybe
so-
maybe we should do that.
You can't do that in this
maybe
country.
we should suspend all our rights.
You know,
Yeah, you can't do that in this
yeah, but you know something?
I'd rather have my right
For speeding, why can't they fine you for spreading a disease?
There is
That's because there are laws against speeding, but there are no laws. There are no laws on the books for this kind of stuff. That's why they can't enforce. Like in Virginia here, they mandate masks, right? Even now, Texas has mandated.
You don't
masks,
wear a
but there's
mask, you
still
should
no
be
way to
arrested.
really
If you don't wear a mask,
enforce
you
it.
should be arrested for attempted murder.
Wow, they'll never get through.
But you can burn down a
course.
church and nothing happens.
What does that have to do with anything of what we're talking about, Phil? Yes, Jeff, quickly. Jeff wants to say something. Jeff.
A church ought at any state who's got difficult problems that are dying, stop the church and use it on the internet church.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go inside the building.
That's what my wife's doing.
The same thing.
Same
All
story.
kinds of people who have brains can do this. It's not that difficult.
I'm talking about the church, the St. Andrew's Church in Washington, D.C. Nobody was inside there. They weren't having any services. These were rioters that were creating havoc.
Phil, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We're not talking about that, Phil. You're doing what Trump does. Look over here. You want to be here talking about something, but look over here. Look over here.
What I said was
diversion.
You'd arrest
Phil.
somebody for burning. You'd arrest somebody for not wearing a mask, but you wouldn't for burning a church.
Yes, we would.
Yeah, we
We
would.
absolutely would. If we can find them, if we can find them, we
Phil,
will.
did they find them? Phil, did they find them? Whoever burnt the church?
I don't know.
Well,
see,
yeah.
that's you can't arrest somebody.
You can't arrest somebody you don't know.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't catch it.
I mean, come on.
Nobody believes
with
them.
a lot of crap.
I don't care if you're left or right or in the middle. Nobody wants lawlessness.
And Phil once again takes us off off into the ditch where we weren't going in the first place.
Trump.
Hey,
You don't want lawlessness.
all right, okay, Phil, okay. Brian, thank you for being with us. You've been a little quiet tonight. Yeah. Some nights you're quiet, some nights you're not. Howard, you've been quiet too, so I want to say, but that's okay. That's fine. I love the view. Phil, thank you. Howard, thank you. Thank you, Charlie. Chip Luvens, thank you. Roberta Lafano. That's what it looks like because you don't have it's separated there. Let's see here. Jeff Stein, thank you. Tony, thank you. And Brian Neary, of course. Always love having you here. Yeah. Mahalo. Mahalo for not smoking. That was my favorite sign of all time. Anyway, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll wave goodbye back at you, okay? There they go, folks. There's our citizen panel for tonight, and also a few unwanted people who joined us. Listen, that's it for tonight. Next is Jack Bishop and the Intersection. I'll be back again tomorrow night for our final show of the week at 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Okay? In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her. And whatever you do, please wear a mask and be safe out there.